everyone, and welcome back to Talk Wordy, my hub for all of the words that I read, write, or otherwise want to yap about. Today, I have a very special author guest for you on the pod. They are the Amazon Top 100 and USA Today best-selling author duo who believe in soft places to land, big laughs, and happily ever afters. And their new book, The Hot Shot, is out now. Please welcome Piper and Rayne, otherwise known as Piper Rayne. You guys, welcome to Talk Wordy.
Thank you.
You.
I am so excited to have you here. I love talking to author duos because I just think that the process is so unique when there's two of you that have to kind of share the same brain. So I'm so thrilled to get to pick your brain about it. But before we get into our main questions, what I like to do with my guests is talk about what we've been reading, watching, and listening to lately. So I will go first. But reading wise, I just started the audiobook of Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy.
Oh, I actually just got that paperback.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard so many good things about it, and I got to meet her. Well, I got to see her. She did like a seminar at my alma mater, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the same building as Sam Puckett. Um, but the first book was so good. And then when I found out that Half His Age was actually like fictional, like fictionalized from some of her experiences, I was like, I have to read this immediately. And the audiobook is apparently pretty short, so I'm really excited to get into it. Watching wise, I just started Finding Her Edge, which is a TV series on Netflix that got adapted from the book by Jennifer Icapelli. It's super cute. I can't get out of my head that the lead actress looks like a young Jennifer Lawrence in her James era.
Yeah, I can see it.
And then listening wise, I have started listening to music by Avery Corcoran. I found her on TikTok actually. She has a song right now that's starting to like get kind of mainstream notice. It's called Shape Shifting on a Saturday Night. And it's fun. It's dance vibes, and I need some upbeat tunes these days. But what about you guys? Piper, I'll start with you. Piper, what have you been reading, watching, and listening to?
Um, Reading, I just finished An Academic Affair that came in my Book of the Month club. And I am spacing on the author's name. But that was good. I really enjoyed it. And watching, I am presently watching Tell Me Lies and just waiting with bated breath every week for a new episode to drop. And listening, I listen to like honestly almost everything. I will always be listening to Taylor Swift in some regard. But I've been listening to a lot of like Ella Langley lately. And over the last few days, like Bad Bunny has got creeped up on my playlist, of course, because of the Super Bowl. So
I love that. Yeah. When Ella Langley announced her second album, I
mhm.
started going back and listening because my husband loves country music. I'm just kind of, I'll listen to it if it's on.
Yeah.
I love her sound.
Yes,
Her voice
same.
is just so rich. So I'm excited to
It
dive.
is. And she's a great writer, like songwriter as well. I really like her lyrics. So yeah.
Also, I'm dying to know because you mentioned Taylor Swift.
Hmm.
Um, each of you, I don't now, Rain, I don't know if you're a Swiftie as well, but what would you say is like your Taylor Swift album?
Oh, I'm gonna go probably with Midnights would probably be mine, to be honest. That's kind
Mhm.
of on rotation quite a bit, but if I'm in my feels, then definitely Tortured Poets Department. But that's if I want to really get into like a down mood.
Awesome. Okay, Rain, what about you? What have you been reading, watching, and listening to?
Okay, well, I'm reading my local like book club, like a book club that I hold. That book of The One by John Mars, which has been pretty good, especially for like February, finding your mate. I don't know if anybody has done that, but watching, I'm also on Tell Me Lies. Like we are both on it. I'm also like Southern Charm, like Bravo fan for sure. And then listening, probably Olivia Dean and Noah Kahn right now. Yeah,
Um,
those two are like heavy on my playlist. Mhm.
I would like come across Olivia Dean songs because like Instagram would suggest them for posts. So I would hear snippets,
Right.
but once she was put in like the best new artist category, I had like a deep dive listen to
Right.
her album and I'm like, every single song is so good. Also,
Right.
I love she kind of has this like jazzy sound. She reminds me a little bit of Leve, but a little more pop.
Mhm.
Right. Mhm.
I love her sound. I'm so glad she won the Grammy. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. My daughter was like going crazy. She loves her too. Yeah.
and then okay, I've been hearing about Tell Me Lies from like you guys, my writing group, my other friends. Like, is this HBO? Is this Hulu? Where is this?
Yeah,
I
what is
think
it? It's
it's
on
Hulu.
Hulu
Yeah.
for us.
Okay.
I'm in Canada, so I'm watching on Disney Plus, but Hulu
Yeah,
comes up first.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, all I've seen like not a meme, but I've seen like Instagram posts out of context and it's like the girl in a wedding gown looking over her shoulder and
Right.
I'm like, I don't know what this is about, but I need to go figure out right now.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of angst and treachery and twists and there's not like my daughter was asking me about it. I was trying to explain it. I said like there's not like a whole lot of characters to root for on the show because a lot of them are pretty terrible, but it's like very entertaining to see because it really goes there, I guess is what it is. And so it's entertaining to tune in each week to see like what might happen.
Yeah, it's like a college, I don't know if you do that. Like it's college age, You see them when they're a little bit older too, the wedding dress, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it definitely gets you thinking everybody has a motive and
Mhm.
it's a good one.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll have to go check it out. Okay, wait. Rain, I'm worried I skipped over you. Do you have a personal Taylor Swift album that you like?
Oh, I'm not as big of a Swiftie as Piper, I will say, but I do listen to her. We actually we took our daughters together to the Eras tour. So I would say Tortured Poet for sure. That's the one I think I go to the most to play.
Yeah, I love that album. I saw a post with Harry Styles' new album. It's like Kiss
Mhm.
All the Time, Disco Occasionally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Somebody somebody changed it to Tortured Poets where it was like tortured all the time, poet occasionally. Like that, if that's not the story of my life, I don't know what is.
Mhm.
So that's so funny. Cool. Throwing it out there. I'm a speak now, girly. I
Oh
Oh.
yeah. Mhm.
ride and die for that album. It's
Mhm.
everything to me. Uh, but enough about me. Let's get into a little bit more about you. So, obviously, you guys just released a book. You just another book. I mean, you have several books. But you guys just released the Hot Shot. For any of our listeners that aren't familiar with your books, tell us a little bit about that story.
I want me to go? I'll go.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Um, it's obviously baseball is this is our first baseball romance. We've done other sports, but this is our first baseball one. Hayes is the catcher, and then Leighton, the heroine, is his little sister's best friend. So um she is guardian. She finds her cousin ends up passing away. She ends up to be guardian to the three kids. And then Callie, who is the best friend slash little sister, kind of like gets Hayes to help Leighton out a little bit. And so then things just kind of fall in place. And they embark on a fake relationship at one point. And yes, I can't think of any. Should I add anything else?
No,
I
I think that
love
covers it.
a fake
Mhm.
relationship. I don't care how old the characters are. If it's a fake relationship, I'm reading it immediately. Also, I love this kind of twist on a single parent because it's not their biological children. It's through guardianship. Like I used to work in a foster care agency for 5 years, so those specific stories, like I personally just love to read, and I love kind of like the angsty, like heartache dynamic of it all.
Right.
But also as a softball player, I love a good baseball book. Do you guys have, I mean, obviously, like you have to love baseball enough to write the Hot Shot and all your other sports romances, but do you each have like a favorite like sport to write and read in sports romance?
Hmm.
You can go Piper first.
I feel like football would be high on my list. Not for, I mean, watch football now, but I don't know. I tend to, I'm just like thinking of like sports romance I've read, and I would say they're primarily football. So that feels like a natural answer to me, although I can't exactly tell you why that would be.
And Rain, what
Uh,
about you? Do you have a
I
specific
mean, I
sport?
would say for me, like reading. I don't feel like it's the sport that gets me to read sports romance. Like I've always loved sports romance. It's not really the sport. I feel like it's more just like what comes with the athlete, like of so it doesn't really matter the sport to me. I mean, I mean it would matter a little, maybe a little bit, but like what Piper said, I don't really have a preference, right? Like, and when it comes to us, like when we write the sports, I love like just the guy gang. I just love writing the guy gangs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Less about sports romance because obviously you don't just write sports romance, you write all kinds of romance. But before you started writing all that, how did the two of you decide together like you wanted to be an author duo? What was that process like for you two?
We had been friends for, I guess, probably about 3 years-ish. We had been writing independently of each other, and we've sort of talked on and off a few times about maybe writing something together. And then I pretty much approached Rain one day and was like, I was sort of like looking for what I was going to do next. And I was like, okay, are we doing this or are we not doing this? And lucky for me, Rain said, sure, let's give it a go. And then like the rest is history now.
That yeah, because I've been talking to other duos and it's so fun to like see like one of them was just they were online like pen pals and they were like
Oh.
read a book
Mhm.
together, but then sometimes it's like best friends that I think
Mhm.
it's so
Oh,
cool. I think if a writer has the chance to do so at least once in their life, they should co-write a book with someone. I think it's just such a fun experience to try and navigate, especially if you've started as like a sole writer.
Mhm.
I just
right.
so cool. When the two of you write books together, do you like what's your process like? Do you two have like certain scenes that y'all will gravitate more towards? Do you write like alternating chapters? Do you each take a POV? What's that like?
Yeah, so I mean, we found what worked for us. We've done it a couple ways, like over the years, but there's one consistent way, which almost I would say 99% of our books are written this way, is that we plot everything together. So one of us comes with the series idea. We kind of just stem off of that. We start talking, plotting, we plot the entire series together, and then one person takes lead, and that person writes the rough draft, and then the other person comes in from behind.
Mm.
And then they see the process through the two editors. Like they go through it and add all the edits. And then they see it through the two editors and a proofreader. Mhm.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay. And then once, I mean, writing process as a whole, do you each have like a favorite part of the writing process, whether that's like drafting, editing, just hitting publish? Like,
Right.
I know I like
We
that.
always enjoy that. Yeah.
Mhm.
What is each of your favorite parts?
I definitely like revisions best. I liked it best when I was writing on my own too. I just sort of like I don't know, I just feel like every time you go over it, it's just like making like polishing the marble, like it just gets shinier and shinier and shinier. And so I like that process of sort of like chipping away to get down to like the essence of what it was you were trying to do with the book. So that would be definitely my favorite part.
Yeah. Where mine's drafting. I mean, that is definitely where, yeah.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Okay. And then specifically with this book that y'all have just released,
Mhm.
without treading too much into spoilers, do each of you have a favorite scene in this book that you think readers are just gonna like eat up?
I know. I thought about this when we got the list of questions. And one thing I can't say because it's a spoiler, so I'm not going to say. Although I will say like it has to do with a glove, but I can't say much else from that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
you can go, Piper, and I'll think of another scene to like.
Well, I just one scene that sticks out in my mind is and it's sort of like all encompassing of anything, anytime sort of Hayes is interacting with the kids and like stepping up and doing things, especially with the youngest child, Monroe. She has I don't know if I should give away, but she has this whole thing going on throughout the book. And anyways, he ends up at a nail salon with her, and I like that whole scene. I think it's very sweet and cute, and because he ends up in the nail chair as well, getting something done. So that's one of the ones that sticks out. That's memorable to me, just because I think this shows, when you think of professional athletes, you think of like big tough guys, sort of thing with maybe an ego and stuff. And this just shows like a bit of a softer side, to the man behind that. So that's one scene that I really liked. That's not really like a spoiler.
Yeah, I just anything girl dad adjacent,
Hmm.
it pulls at the heartstrings, so
Hmm.
that'll be a good one.
Yeah, that's true. Hmm.
Okay.
Um, yeah, go ahead. I don't know if I can think of another one, but if you read the book and it says glove, you'll understand what.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just out of context spoilers, I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, drifting more in like the regular bookish realm. Um, what are your auto recommendations for new readers, whether coming from your books that you've written or just books that you love in general?
Well, I'm always gonna, it's nothing like our books, but I'm always gonna recommend the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, which I did rope Rain into reading the whole thing.
Yes, last year.
Quite a commitment.
Hmm.
Um, but in a more like sort of like along with what we write, I read a lot of Karina Halley, Christina Lauren, Tessa Bailey, Cressley Cole. So any of their books I've always enjoyed personally.
Wow.
Yeah, for me, Penelope Douglas is a good one that I usually recommend to people if they haven't. And also probably Kate Stewart, like Drive Reverse, like, yeah, those are the top ones I feel like I tell people, like, have you read these yet? Like, you should read them. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Speaking of which, if you could wipe your memory, this is one of my favorite questions, and I can't believe I don't ask people more often, but if you could wipe your memory and reread one book for the first time again,
Mm.
what is that book for each of you?
God, I know. I thought about this one too. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, it's what brought Penelope Douglas to my mind earlier today is because I saw this like reels or whatever where somebody did something for corrupt. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with that one. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I think I would say Empire of Storms in the Throne of Glass series
Yeah.
because of just sort of everything that happens leading up and then like the ending was like devastating
Yeah,
in
that's
a good
good.
way. Get devastating in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was cinematic. Did you guys do the tandem read or did you read Empire and then go straight to Tower of Dawn?
I did tandem.
I did tandem because Piper told me to do the tandem.
Yeah.
So.
What did you do?
So I read the books as they came out,
Oh, okay.
went
I
straight.
felt sorry for people who
How
had to
did
do
we able
that.
to do that?
Yeah.
Don't know because when the timeline, this is going to age me in
Mhm.
a
Oh,
younger way, but when Empire of Storms came out, I was a sophomore in high school.
Mhm.
Then when Tower of Dawn came out, it was my junior year, and then senior year was Kingdom of Ash. So it felt like the perfect timing, minus Tower of Dawn in my junior year.
Yeah, yeah.
Junior year is already brutal.
Yeah.
Tower of Dawn, like no offense to Sir Kay, like
right.
really?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can see. I enjoyed the book, but I think it's because it was like I was reading tandem, and so I think I remember us having the conversation of like I would have hated to have finished
Yeah.
Empire Storms and then picked up Tower of Dawn and be like, wait, we're not picking up where we left off,
Yeah,
like on that
right.
last book.
I know.
Oh,
For
One of
sure.
my friends got into like I got her into Tower of or not Tower of Dawn, Throne of Glass. I got her
mhm.
into the series like well after they were all finished.
Yeah.
And I was like, you should do the tandem read. I never got to do it. I've heard it's
Mhm.
amazing.
Mhm.
She was telling me this alone makes me want to reread it just to do the tandem read. It's the part where Kaol was like trying to decide where Aelin wouldn't be.
Yes. Oh, yes.
No,
Oh,
Skull
Go to Skulls Bay. Yeah.
like she wouldn't be at Skulls Bay. Go to Empire of Storms and the tandem read. They're all in Skulls Bay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, so funny. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think if I had to wipe my memory. Yeah, Throne of Glass would be up there.
Mhm.
I will say A Court of Mist and Fury was a very
Mm.
formative book for me, but I think one of my all-time favorite books is Scythe by Neil Shusterman.
Oh, I don't know that
I
one.
don't know if you've ever read it or heard of it, but it's a dystopian book for young adults, and I feel like now more than ever because the second book starts creeping into like a different way to describe AI,
Oh,
and
interesting.
it's so fascinating. I don't know. I feel like I reread Scythe at least once a year, and I'm not a rereader.
Mhm.
That's my recommendation. That's what I would probably wipe my memory to go read. is there a book that either of you wish that like you had come up with? Because I think all of us, like, man, if I could have come up with Throne of Glass, that's
Oh,
Yeah.
it would have been
right.
it. But do you guys have like
Mm.
any other book out there that you're like, man, I wish I could have written
I
that. That's
know,
so
right.
cool.
There's another series that I loved going back many years by Karen Marie Moning. And it's the Fever series. And it ended up being, I can't even remember how many books now. I'm going to say nine-ish, maybe. And just, it was a really amazing story, the characters, but like the intricacies of the plot, like when you're like on book eight and things come up that like meant nothing in book one and two, and you're like, how did she like I just picture like one of these like murder boards where there's like the lines and like connecting things. And I just think like I
Mhm.
don't think I have the brain for that. Or like how many times would they have had to like reread their work or make keep this straight? And so whenever I read something like that, I always think, oh man, I wish I could write something like that because I don't think that I could.
Yeah, right. I mean, I agree. I mean, like when I was reading Throne of Glass, because after she, sent it to me, it was just like that and Akatarks, and I moved on, obviously. But and I was just like, I just can't even imagine, I don't know, like plotting that many books and all like the lines that go with it. And like it's just, I mean, like I feel like it's like genius. I was always like author goals. Like I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, like I can't believe she hooked this with that. And like, yeah, anything like that, I feel like. Mhm.
No, it's like we're all playing checkers and she's playing chess.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have a friend that is getting an English degree, but in order to get the degree, he has to do this big monster thesis of some kind.
Mhm.
He's doing it on all of the connecting threads between the universes of Sarah J. Maas.
Oh,
And
wow.
he, at first I was like, "Oh, that's so cool. You get to read
Hmm.
Maas books for research."
Right.
And we took a road trip recently with another one of our friends, and he spent like 2 hours of the drive, like talking about all the things that he picked up in
Hmm.
research. And I'm just like,
Wow.
fun.
I actually would love to read his thesis
I
when
would
he
too, and I'd
does.
like to have a conversation with
Yeah.
him.
I know, I'm like, can you publish that, please?
Mhm.
So he has to, I think it's called like defending your thesis. He has to
Mhm.
actually do it in person. So like I'm gonna
Mhm.
go and I'm
Oh,
gonna like
right.
watch because it's just so insightful. Like there's like that one meme from that episode with like the murder boards and the
Yes. Mhm.
yonk, and it's just like it's the guy that's like this.
Yes.
That's him because I see all of his like Goodreads progress
Mhm.
when he's like taking notes, and I'm just like, this is borderline psychotic. I need to do this thesis immediately. Speaking of research, um, I'm curious to know what is the weirdest thing you've had to look up for author book research?
Hmm.
God. I,
If
mm.
anything, it doesn't have to be weird, but just like
I'm
fun
sure
out
there's been a lot, but I just cannot think of any off.
Yeah, I'm thinking the most recent thing I had to like do a deep dive on that I remember being like, I never thought I'd be deep diving something like this was like all the all the foliage and trees in Maine and like different like cuts and what you use the trees for and like where they're, all these things. And I was like, this is more information about trees than I ever wanted to know. Um, like and like preserving that and like things like that. I was like, wow, okay. Um,
Yeah, I'm sure there's a ton. I can't think of any other ones
hmm.
now.
Yeah, that's
I mean, cattle ranches for the Plain Daisy Ranch. I remember trying to like do that.
hmm.
Mm.
I've looked up like lots of over the years. It's not weird. But guns are not like huge in our society here in Canada, so like literally know nothing about them, nor don't know anyone who owns a gun. So I was like, every time there's like something to do with the gun, I have to like do a deep dive on like how does it work? Like how do you put bullets in it? How do you take a safety off of this gun? Because I know nothing about them. So that's like a real basic thing, but for me, and I had recently had to do that, and so for me, I'm like, oh, okay. And there's like, I think what's amazing to me is that there's like way more than I thought you could know like and differences and stuff and I'm just like wow there's like a lot here so that's always interesting for me but yeah I can't think of anything really
Mm.
weird.
I sometimes worry like when I'm writing my own stuff, I think, okay, whoever is going through my
Yeah.
search history, my FBI agent on the other
Yeah.
side of the camera,
Yeah.
they're probably like, what is she doing?
hmm
All right.
hmm
Like I'm trying to think of the last thing like weird wise that I had to research. I think, gosh, I'm like I have a book that includes like dance. And mind you, I was an ex-dancer, but there are some times when I'm like, okay, what is the difference between like a sickled foot and a pointed foot? And like,
I know that.
ew, but it's
My
like
daughter was a dancer, so I know.
I'm like, I have to look up all the ligaments. And so
Yeah.
my FBI agent is like, why are you looking up feet postures? Like
Very
and like
true.
all the French spelling. I'm like, I don't
Mhm.
um if you could pull any of your characters from your books into your real life and be best friends with them,
Hmm.
who are you wanting to be in your real life girl gang or boy gang? You
I'm
never
I am probably gonna
Mhm.
pull Michelle or Rain, you know who I'm gonna say. I'm gonna pull Lennon, who is from
Mhm.
one of our very early books, Mad About the Banker, Lennon Hart, and she is just a bit of a wild woman, but just sort of like doesn't care what people think about her more than anything. But I feel like she'd be a lot of fun and always have your back. So that's who I would pick.
Mhm. Oh, I'm probably going to pick somebody from our Bailey series, which is an Alaskan small town series. And I actually would probably pick the Grandma Dory, really, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But any of those girls are, I would as well. You know what I mean?
Alaskan small town. I have a friend that's from North Pole, Alaska, so I'm like, oh,
Oh,
you know
Hmm.
what?
yeah,
We're
we have
turning
two
heads.
family series there. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, this is probably my most out of pocket question yet, but it's something that like came to mind a couple days ago, and now I feel like I'm gonna have to ask every single one of my guests because it's that important.
Hmm.
If your books were to ever get adapted, been a long day, you guys, adapted into digital media, so whether that's TV, limited series, a movie, um, and then the TikTok editors found it.
hmm
What songs would you want to see as the backdrop for those
Hmm.
edits?
This is hard. I was thinking about this question. It's hard. I was like, obviously, any Taylor Swift song.
Mm.
I feel like if you have that in your show, people probably are going to be talking
Hmm.
about it.
Hmm.
I like Lana Del Rey a lot too. She's like a lot of real haunting kind of music. So depending on what kind of book it was. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go with Piper's suggestions more than mine,
I
probably.
recently told Rain, about somebody. I was like, if this one particular thing that we have ever gets made, I'm putting Costa D'Angelo, who is in Tell Me Lies, on the vision board, which I did, to be in the show.
I was gonna say, do you guys ever think about like fan casts? I mean, obviously, in some regard, yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think sometimes, not a lot, but I think sometimes somebody rolls by or is in something that's like a newer like person on the scene, and you think to yourself, oh, that would be, or that's how I kind of pictured so and so from like whatever book. But I don't think we really do it when we're writing, I would say.
Except that you're really big at pulling people. Like, so, like when you're the front runner, you are usually like, you have like the
Well, I
board
need a visual.
with like a
Yeah,
person, like an
yeah,
actor or somebody, right? Whereas I just kind of like go from my head, right? But
yeah.
like,
No, I need a
you usually
visual
do
to
have
work
those
off of.
people. Yeah.
Part of that is because I have a terrible memory. So I need to be able to go back to a picture and be like, what color eyes does this person have? What does this person look like? So yes, I do like a visual.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love that. And then to kind of wrap up, I just want to ask, so you mentioned that both of you wrote individually, if I'm not mistaken,
Mhm.
before coming together in an author duo. Um, what was your individual writing journeys like at that time, and how did each of you like first decide like, yeah, I want to be a writer?
Yeah, I'd wanted to be a writer like honestly since like primary school, and at the time we're older, so it wasn't like it was just like, there's Stephen King and Nora Roberts and a couple other really big people, and those are the people who could make a living writing. And so I went and did something totally different. I came back to writing because I had a good friend of mine pass away when I was in my early 30s. And I'd always kind of thought, oh, like I'll write a book at some day when my kids are a little older. And then when my friend Scott passed away, for me, that was sort of like a wake up call of like, well, you might not have later, to do this thing that you want to do. And so that's kind of was the kick in the pants for me to like actually sit down and start writing something. And yeah, I wrote all over the board. I went wherever the muse took me. So I had contemporary romance, new adult, romantic suspense, erotic romance, small town romance. I was just all over the board.
Yeah, but why stick to a niche? It's more fun
Yeah.
that way if you go broad. And then Rain, what about you?
Yeah, so I as well wanted to be a writer when I was younger. Went to school for something else, graduated with my social work degree, then went to go work in like a business, right? And then after I had my kids, 50 Shades of Grey came out. Everybody was talking about the book. I couldn't get the book. My husband bought me a Kindle like for that Mother's Day or whatever, and then I got it, and then that started me reading back up, right? I had like 4-year-old twins at that point, or maybe 3-year-old twins. And it was just like it finally got me reading, and then I started to see like the names of the publishers and that they were the people like the self-publishing was like booming at that time. And I just thought, I'm just gonna give it a shot. You know what I mean? And so like I sat down and wrote my own book and then yeah. And I was more new adult. I was completely new adult pretty much across the board. Mhm.
And I love that new adult is starting to like have her flowers because I
Mhm.
think
Mhm.
that for a long time it was so there's YA and then it's immediately a jump to adult.
Mhm.
I'm waiting for the day. Like, I don't know if you've seen that Berkeley now has a strictly new adult imprint.
Hmm.
Like, thank goodness.
Mhm.
Because as a new adult aged girly, I would love to feel like truly like age and struggles represented in literature,
Hmm.
but also to have like those bigger outlets kind of elevate new adult voices. It's
Mhm.
like you said, you've written so many new adult, but I feel like nobody ever talks about
Hmm.
new adult. So I'm really excited to see like the surge of it in the current market now.
Hmm.
And then selfishly, I am going to ask one more question. As a self-publishing author myself, and I know a lot of our listeners are either on the indie route or they're thinking of going the indie route. Um, what is your most pressing, it doesn't have to be your best piece of advice, but what was a piece of advice that helped you in that particular writing journey?
I would give two pieces of advice. My first would be to focus on your craft. Everybody is very, very focused on marketing these days, and trust us, we understand why. But if you don't have a good book that people want to read, then you can market it to death. It's not going to make a difference. And I think I would start your newsletter early. So as soon as you have a book, start a newsletter and keep with it, rather than thinking you'll start one when you're like popular and you have more readers. I would start like right away
Mhm.
curating that.
Yeah, I think a lot of us don't we think about like the book community as a whole, but we don't think about like nurturing that little community at the start because that's how you maintain like this loyal
Yeah.
foundation. Um, that's wonderful. That's a great piece of advice. Rain, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with her with the craft situation. I mean, we're still craft junkies, right? And then, but I mean, like she said, you can bring them to your book, but they're not going to stay, right? Like, and there's so much out there than when we started, right? When we were indies, there was not hardly anything out there as information wise, right? So it's like you guys are like, I feel like the people coming in now are like so much luckier, but that's okay. It's different, you know. And but my biggest piece of advice would be reviews because this is what killed me when I first started out, right? Like I already had that insecurity about writing, and then I would read a bad review, and the person would just like bash my book, and I would think, oh, I got to change the way I'm writing, right? Then I shouldn't do that. And there is creative criticism. Like I mean, I do think like you have to take some of that, you know, and you have to change your writing or like try to whatever. But if somebody just doesn't like your book and one stars it, more than likely they were never your reader in the first place, and that readers will come. Like your readers that love you and your voice and your storytelling, they will come and then they will find you and then stay with you, right? That you don't have to, that person just didn't like your book and that's okay. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean you're a bad writer or anything.
Absolutely. We've all read popular top of the chart books that we didn't care for.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're not like good books. It just means like you are not the reader for that book. And
Yeah.
it's, that's fine. Not
Yes.
every book will appeal to every person, and that's fine.
Yeah, like I always say, like after I read a good book or a bad, if I like the book or not, I go back and I read the reviews and I read the 5 stars and I read the 1 stars and I read like just to say that like I loved this book and so many people didn't, or I didn't like the book, but look how many people did, like it's just a confirmation of that, I guess, to myself. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like to tell my
Mhm.
friends because I love to read, but I take a little bit slower to read. And
Yeah.
so even though I don't read as many books as some people, like when there's a book that I like don't particularly care for, I'm always very like cognizant of saying I just wasn't the target audience of the book.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Because especially from like the author point of view, I think we're a lot more empathetic to the fact that like
Mhm.
so much time and energy got put into those books, and just
Mhm.
because I didn't like it or it wasn't like geared for me
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
doesn't mean that
Mhm.
it's not a good book and it was worth being published and adored by other readers.
Mhm.
So I love that.
Yeah.
Stellar
Mhm.
advice, you guys. Wonderful. um, this was so fun. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I've loved getting to talk to the two of you. Before you leave, tell our listeners where they can find you, social media, website, if you're coming to any upcoming events, all that good stuff.
Yes, social media. Our website is piperrayne.com, and we're on socials at author Piper Rayne is where you'll find us most places. For signings, what do we have this year? Just two.
We have Wild and Windy in Chicago, and what's the one in Banff?
Indie Romance Invades the Rockies,
Yes.
is that what it's called?
Hmm.
In May, also in May, and that's in Banff, Alberta, in Canada.
And we are on, so we're on mostly on Amazon, Kindle Unlimited. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love a good KU read.
Oh, and we
Hmm.
have to say, if you're an audiobook fan, the HOTSHOT and all the books in that series are all full cast audio.
Hmm.
So, so that's listeners seem to like that. So that's worth
Hmm.
mentioning, probably.
Right. Hmm.
I know I was like cyber stalking your website and there was like the audiobook tab and the drop down was massive. I was
Yeah.
like, yes. This is exactly what I was wanting.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Again, you guys, I had so much fun. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And to everyone who was listening, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, Sydney.
Thanks for having us.